if we want to clean up this party before the election and beat Kathleen Wynne, we have to start taking a hard look at those individuals who corrupted our party and start making some important decisions. And I can't see how those people are considered members in good standing, and I'm not.
I'm with Jim Cariholias, ex-PC member, not by choice, mind you. And Jim, you've been a longtime critic of Patrick Brown and the carbon tax. I guess, as they say, revenge is sweet.
Well, it wasn't just the carbon tax, it was also the corruption in the party, specifically with the governance of how the party was run. Look, corruption doesn't have to involve money, Dave. We've seen allegations of financial impropriety, but when you use fraud and when you're dishonest, and those people in power are doing that to get the ends that they want, and they're corrupting certain rules and governance and lying about the laws, that's corruption. And I took issue with that, and that's why they threw me out of the party when Patrick Brown was in charge.
If indeed Patrick Brown is corrupt, if that's provable, certainly there's the integrity commissioner is looking into Patrick Brown. There is a criminal investigation in the Hamilton, West Ancaster, Dundas riding. Should Patrick Brown be kicked out of the party just as you were?
So I don't think we need to wait for the integrity commissioner to decide. Look, Patrick Brown lied about what the Elections Act said. He said that he had the power to appoint candidates and he decided to appoint 64 of them. He doesn't have that power, Dave. And then he ignored the party constitution. He lied that the Constitution doesn't matter and it's just advisory for him to just make a choice of what candidate he wants. So under the PC Constitution, you have one obligation as a member, uphold the party constitution. And it's clear to everyone in the party that he did not do that. And if I'm going to get thrown out of the party, Dave, I don't know what the grounds are to keep Patrick Brown in the party.
You know, you raise a very good point about the Constitution, Jim, and it's something we've seen firsthand covering nomination writings. And whenever the party strays from the Constitution and the grassroots members say, this is unconstitutional, the party brass, such as Rick Dykstra, the former president, Bob Stanley, the former executive director, say the constitutional rules are merely guidelines, but when it comes to them enforcing the Constitution, they are hard and fast rules. So it's like they're having it both ways.
Well, look, it's clear the Constitution's a legal document and it's binding, and the Elections Act relies on it for the party to decide which candidates are selected. You know what? Every once in a while, things are going to slip up in a party. You're not always going to follow the letter of the law. What we're talking about here is a deliberate violation of the Constitution in numerous ridings across Ontario.
Well, what is indeed the answer from the current party brass about that?
Well, I haven't heard. I wrote a letter this morning. I don't know if they're going to get back to me, but we can't keep our hopes up. Look, the PC executive still runs the party, and those people are there, the majority of them, because of backroom deals that Patrick Brown cut 2 years ago at a convention. So I'm not holding out hope that those people are now going to see the importance of a party constitution and rules and law and binding legal documents. But if we want to clean up this party before the election and beat Kathleen Wynne, we have to start taking a hard look at those individuals who corrupted our party and start making some important decisions. And I can't see how those people are considered members in good standing, and I'm not.
Jim, what's your opinion on why Patrick Brown resigned just 2 days before the leadership debate, given that he threw his hat back in the ring? I guess it was less than 2 weeks ago. What's the unspoken reason for why he decided he had to bail again?
Well, look, he tried to make it sound in his withdrawal letter that it had nothing to do with the media reports that came out earlier in the day. But everyone knew, when the integrity commissioner is looking into your financial affairs, when the media reports that he instructed at a nomination to, quote unquote, get the result that I want. In a nomination where the police are now investigating for voter fraud, it's pretty clear why he dropped out. And he tried to suggest it was for other reasons. He showed no remorse.
For the sake of his family and friends who are under stress and that sort of thing, right, and to concentrate on the libel lawsuit against CTV.
If he didn't want to put his family through that, he wouldn't have got back in the race 10 days ago. So I'm not buying that excuse. He should have stayed out of the race. I don't know why he made a circus of this party for 10 days. And it's clear to everyone. You know, the other sad part about that withdrawal letter is he didn't take any responsibility for anything he's done in the last 2 years or in the last 10 days. He took no responsibility for the circus he's done. He showed no remorse for anyone that he's railroaded, for those nomination candidates that were robbed of their nominations. He showed no remorse. And in a moment when he had an opportunity to conjure some sympathy, he showed us that he didn't deserve any.
A lot of Patrick Brown's people, of course, went over to the Caroline Mulroney camp. What do you make of that?
Well, I'm not so sure about that anymore. I haven't been able to follow the news today, but it'd be interesting to see, since Patrick Brown got out of the race, those candidates that signed up to endorse him in the last 10 days that said, you know what, let's do another run of this corruption with Patrick Brown as leader. They were promoting another run of him as party leader. Where are they going to end up? That's the question now. I want to see if any of these 4 leadership candidates, are they going to cut deals with these candidates that were promoting and openly saying Patrick Brown should get another kick at the can, knowing everything that we know? So I'm really nervous about some potential backroom deals that are happening and people looking forward to overlooking the last 2 years and not fixing the problem.
You know, that's an interesting point. Vic Vidali, of course, is on record as talking about the rot that is in the PC party of Ontario. Do you think the rot is simply Patrick Brown, who is now a non-factor, or is there still more rot in this party?
The PC party constitution is the best democratic constitution that I've seen from the 3 major parties in Ontario. So I don't think it's rotten. And I don't think as a whole the party is rotten. The grassroots members are largely...
Why would Vic Vidali say that then?
Well, because I think there's an element, and we've seen it. It's Patrick Brown and a handful of his friends, and probably the majority of the executive that he hand-appointed or got them acclamations. And if we want to move forward, we have to turn the page. We can't just pretend that it's one person that was responsible for this mess.
Jim, now that Patrick Brown is gone for good in terms of a PC party leader, we have come across so many conservatives, so many PC supporters that have abandoned the party. They've been telling us they're going to sit this one out, decline their ballot. They're going to vote for, I guess, protest parties like the Trillium Party or the Ontario Alliance. Do you think now that Patrick Brown is out of this party, those disenchanted, disillusioned conservatives will come back in?
Well, I'm not sure if he's out of the party yet. He's still a member as far...
I guess in terms of a leader then.
But you know, if he's going to be a candidate in the next election, that's not very good. If some of the people that were conspiring with him are still going to have major roles as candidates in other factions in the party, that's not very good. But one thing's clear, the PC party is the natural home for conservatives, and we have to do everything we can. The next leader has to do whatever they can to turn the page from this dark history in our past and welcome those conservatives back, get them back on board, because we can't win the next election by losing members and losing votes. That's not going to work.
So in about an hour or so, there's going to be a debate with the 4 leadership aspirants. Who do you support, Jim?
Well, I've got my Axe the Carbon Tax campaign. I've got my Take Back Our PC Party campaign. As an activist, I'm not involved with any campaign. I'm putting my issues out there. I'm happy to see all 4 of them are now against the carbon tax. People were telling me that was crazy 2 years ago. We've moved on the issue. The PC party is now for the carbon tax. All the grassroots, they said, all the grassroots, Patrick Brown said, were for it. Now we've seen 100% against the carbon tax. I'm really looking at this debate to see what are these candidates going to say about corruption in the party and the governance of the party. Are they going to take this seriously about nominations, the rule of law? Because that's an important issue. That's what conservatives bank on, and I want to see what these 4 candidates are going to have to say about that.
Well, let me rephrase the question. If you were a betting man, and I think you are, if you had to put a wager on who's going to prevail at the convention, who do you think it would be?
That's not a wager I would take, because to me it's a wide open race, right? You've got Caroline Mulroney that everyone knows, you've got Doug Ford, you've got Christine Elliott, and look, Tanya, people didn't know about, but she came out of the gate swinging on that first debate, caught a lot of people by surprise. And
I thought she did extremely well. In fact, Ezra and I both thought she was the winner of that debate.
Well, she was the only one that called Patrick Brown on his corruption. So we're going to have to see if the other 3 are willing to go there today and be honest with the voters. Like, are we going to actually address what's going on in this party, or are we going to try to cover it up and pretend like everything's rosy now?
And Jim, last night you put out a mass email outlining many of the points you've just discussed with me. What has been the reaction about your views and your analysis of the whole Patrick Brown saga?
Well, I sent an email to my supporters last night about taking a serious look about those members in our party that are not upholding the Constitution and going out of their way to conspire to break it, basically. And if we want to be serious and say that we're a clean party, we got to take a hard look at what it means to be a member in good standing and whether you're following the rule of law and the Constitution. And so Patrick Brown's gone, but there's others that think everything that happened in the last 2 years was okay. It's a small group, but the next leader's got to have to address that question. And maybe they'll start tonight.
And Jim, those were the questions I had, unless is there anything I missed that you feel would be relevant to this story?
I think we covered it all. Looking forward to tonight. Thanks for the good work, Dave.
Hey folks, have you heard the news? The Rebel has a brand new app. Download that app and take the Rebel wherever you go.